moves in order for them to collect evidence on them. So yes, and they're dealing with it right now. I don't expect you're going to see all these tyrannical, controlled, um, you know, dumb leaderships, in the G7s and G8s or whatever you want to call them. They're all going to start getting thrown off the chessboard. That they're going to be arrested or whatever. Who knows? They're going. Like we're in the storm right now, watching this all unfold. Would the old currencies like Iraq be valued for exchange? Yes, well, they're doing it right now. That's why the Iraqi people are exchanging. They realize now, because they never trusted their banks because of the corruption before. They always hoarded their own money, or which was American money. They dealt with American money because they couldn't trust their own dinar. That was from 1991. when Saddam Hussein ran the show in Baghdad, he ruled it with an iron fist, but he also put the dinar, which was the second or third most valuable or highly rated dinar or Middle Eastern currency on the planet. Kuwait today is the most valued currency on the planet. And Iraq's going to go back up there. It's going to go back up to what it was before it was invaded by the Bush brothers. I call them the Bush brothers because it's just easier for me. It wasn't senior, junior. They're all just a bunch of, NAZIs. And they went in there and totally invaded Iraq. I mean, I'm not saying that, Saddam's sons were saints. They weren't. They did a lot of cruel things there, but but the value of what we're trying to answer here is the value of the currencies. They're, the Iraqi people, after 25 years, their money is now, they're starting to get their confidence back in the dinar, and they're getting rid of the dollar because they know that the dollar's dying. And, Rome will fall wherever it may fall. It's going to fall. It's the old Rome of the U.S. incorporation that's going to fall. The new republic is coming up, and it's the new republic is starting to rise. It's already risen. And this is what the 4th of July was all about, with the announcements of all that. He declared war on, the jihadis and, of course, the communist factions around the world. And he says he's going to wipe them off the face of the planet. That's what he's going to do. And that's his mission. How you doing? Can't see your name. Grand rising to you. How you doing, Franz? Yes. Howdy from Oklahoma. How's Shelley doing? Good to see you. How you doing, Amy? Soul Logic. Yep. How you doing, Flash? Crazy Fox. Yeah, I can't. I'm just going to call you Gorgas. Corgus. I can't get your first name in there. Yeah. How's it going, Christy? From Athens, Greece. Beautiful city. If it's from Alexx West, it's not Alexx West, exactly. Anything Alexx 777 West, they're using all different types of trying to, manipulate my identity, okay? On TikTok, I am live only. And Alexx is with a double X West on Facebook. And on YouTube, Alexx with a double X 777 on YouTube. Yes, NASA is a huge lie. I mean, doesn't that tell the tale though? That being the biggest consumers of helium, they're taking them all up there in those big helium balloons to hold all their satellites up, under the firmament. We're going to see all kinds of things, and it's going to. Are we going to call it the Great Awakening, or the Big Lie? I'm going to call it the big lie is going to be exposed. And we can thank our Jesus, is that thunderclouds? My goodness. Yeah, it could be coming in. You got sunny day, 1 minute, you go inside for 10 minutes, the next thing we got like thunderclouds, yeah. How you doing, Sydney? Sydney, Australia is in the house. Big city, big beautiful city. Kind of reminds me of Vancouver. How you doing, Karen? Good to see you. Hamilton, Ontario's in the house. No, NASA is not a space agency. It's there are a lot of NEZIs there that came over from the Operation Project Mockingbird project. There was a couple of them that came over there. Paperclip. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah. And I just want to say, blueberries again. Start eating blueberries. Get them clean. Put them in everything, because that's going to clean out your plastics. Okay. Pumpkin seeds are excellent. I eat pumpkin seeds. I order them in, and then I throw them all on a thing there, and on a cookie sheet, and put sea salt, right from the ocean, sea salt on it, and just let them bask away. And they heat up in that, 35-degree heat in the Philippines. It takes about 20 minutes, and they're ready to go, and extremely good. Yes, it's great for old geezers, but like I said, for us old guys, I find that I'm having no joint issues, even being in Canada, which is really bad here. As long as I can, drink my clove tea, I guess you want to call it, my clove water and cinnamon. Sorry for spitting out the words. I got so many things running around in my head. How you doing, Rona? Yes. It's getting late there for you guys. Yeah. Good morning from Quebec. How you doing? Yes, I will be contacting Annie after this and get an update on what's happening. Yes, we got huge rain clouds happening right now. It's just pouring rain. Interesting. I don't know where these things come from. I mean, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. That was like 10 minutes ago. And all of a sudden, I'm total welcome for these storm clouds that are coming on, because it's going to, stop the forest fires that are happening in British Columbia. How you doing, Georgia? Grand rising to you. How you doing, Lena? Good to see you. Bob Mills, is it Oregon? I'm not, I try not to let any shout outs for any negative comments. How you doing, Isa? Love the sound of rain. Yeah, no, I'm on my camper's got a tin roof. Yeah, homemade camper. And it's, you know what? I made this camper in such a way, of course I built it out of wood and whatever, but that you could be minus 30 in this thing, and you'd probably have to open the door up. Yeah. Hydrogen peroxide, cup white vinegar, and half, here we go. Yeah. Cup of white vinegar and half cup of baking soda. Yeah. And you can warm it up, put it in a foot bath. If you can do the thing with the foot bath, I'm going to do one today. Yep. And get it hot, hot, hot. And the baking soda will actually, if you take the water, like if you got tap water or whatever the case may be, and then get it boiled, you boil it, because they have chlorine and fluoride in there. But once you put the baking soda in there, it neutralizes everything. Yeah. Good morning to you from California. Bob's Organic Baking Soda. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one to use. Yeah. Every man, woman over 65 should be collecting a minimum of $6,500 a month. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Yeah. Keep those intels coming. Because we have so many newbies coming on. Like there's so many new people coming on, just getting, their head around everything that's going on right now. We're here. We are fighting the reptiles that have been trying to suppress us mentally, physically, and spiritually. Yeah. And to the point, this is where, unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but, we are in the tail end of the die-off. We're in the tail end of this die-off. Between 2025 and 2026, there will be a little bit in 2027, but it is absolutely astronomical right now, the die-off from the scamdemic. Yeah. Grand Rising from the swamps. Where you at? You in Louisiana, in Georgia? Hello, Janie from Holland. How are you? How's it going, Jack? Yeah. How you doing? Now in Abbotsford, it's cloudy. Thanks, Mama. Appreciate it. That's good. We need the rain. Bring the rain on right now and wipe out those fires up in Kamloops. They're just getting blasted. The smoke is terrible to breathe up there right now. That's Boston Bar, Lytton, Kamloops, and north of there. But I guess it hasn't got up to Prince George yet. Thank God. But that might be, the winds might be swinging because it's a westerly wind, so it might be heading east into Kelowna or Salmon Arm. Yep. How you doing, Dino? You hear the thunderclouds? I walked outside 10 minutes before we started here, and it was bright sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. Go figure. G-Day, how you doing? How you doing, Dino? Hey, Sean. Where do we get organic baking soda? Well, you got to look on the shelves. It is on the shelves. You can maybe go to the health food stores and check what they've got. We got a good one downtown in Cranbrook here. Yep. And that's they got pretty much everything in there that you need. You got to pay a little bit more, but it's if you're only saving a few pennies, but you're poisoning yourself. So it's really irrelevant, right? It's a no-brainer. How you doing, Lena? Good to see you. What is going up? Well, you tell me. I know there's a lot of things coming down. My beloved Father, my God, Jesus Christ, good morning. P.O., thank you so much for taking care of me. Amen. Thank you for the quick prayer. How you doing, Sean Fitzpatrick? How are things going? And carrying them is Amazon. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you can find most anything online right now through Amazon. How you doing, Northern Illinois? Up Chicago way. Yep. So social insurance is going up. Well, I sure hope so, because I know I haven't seen it yet. How you doing, Mitch? Mitch McConnell, yeah, he's gone. Anybody that's out there right now is a actor, okay, including our presidento. They all have to be actors because they're in a simulation, movie simulation, to wake up humanity. It's really that simple. It's really everything that is out there, everything for 71 years for me personally, going on 72 years, I have been lied to. Yes, I got a bone to pick. When will Carney go down? He's already down. He's just, and I got something to tell you about Carney, the reason why he came in here to begin with. Carney, the Prime Minister, the inserted Prime Minister of Canada, was ordered back from the Bank of England by his investors, which are the unelected banksters overseas, out of the country, got nothing to do with Canada, told him to go back because they were heavily invested in the carbon tax, not just the carbon tax, but the climate change. And they had spent billions and billions of dollars on this investment, thinking they were going to get trillions and trillions of dollars back using the poor people of Canada's on their backs. Okay? So he was ordered back. Trudeau, Castro got the punt. They said, we've had enough of you. The people were sick enough. We're going to put you out on the lazy train, and here, go grab a girlfriend in Katy Perry, whoever it was, and be a celebrity for a while. Either Katy Perry or Trudeau are not who they are. They're both in the YMCA. They're just there as actors, okay? Carney comes in order to keep the money from, the investors' money safe and protect their money. Because they knew that the climate change fiasco scam was failing. People are waking up to it. They're saying, this is all bullshit. We're not buying into it anymore, blah, blah, blah. But that's the trouble with humanity. It takes so long for them to wake up. It takes so long for all this big money and whatever, because they are so in a quagmire with their own egos, okay? And they're not able to see what's on the outside. Anyways, Carney comes back in to protect his investments, his investments money through Brookfield, that is stationed out of the United States somewhere. Okay, so he's raping and pillaging all Canadian government asset that is basically our money, and he's pillaging that to fill the coffers to make sure that his investors and their what do you call it, their board of directors and all this other shit do not lose any money on how much money they spent on this climate change fiasco. That's the bottom line. So, the Global Alliance basically let them go ahead and do all the bullshit and all the illegal scamming, Ponzi schemes through the G7s and G8s. They're saying just let them fly with it, because that's going to help wake up humanity in their very, very slow way. But they probably will not get away with it. They know who these criminal investors are that are offshore, hidden away behind their ivory towers and behind their, oak desks and stuff like that, pushing their chess people around, which are these phony, tyrannical politicians. And it's all failing on them now. Albanese for Australia, Luxon for New Zealand, it's all failing for them. Merz in Germany, that's on the brink of disaster. Macron out of France, and Stern, what's his name, Stalmer out of England. There's other ones out there, like even Maloney. I don't know what's going to happen with her. Italy is completely shut down. They're not going to work. They're all in a mess. And no matter what this Maloney thing was at there, whether she was, pro Trump or pro, it doesn't matter. If she's been involved in this, this Ponzi scheme, which I know she has been, she's going to be dealt with as well. How you doing, country girl? Yes, Amazon has good baking soda. That's Bob's Organic. Yep, you can use that. That would be a great supplement. Yep. When do you think the EBS? Well, I think as soon as it heats up bad enough, I think we're close. It could even happen in July. And I don't know what's the date today, the 9th? I think it's going to happen in July. I don't think they're going to run it till August. That's just my intuition. Any day now we can have, all our phones light up and it'll say EBS emergency broadcasting, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it'll go on to these, you'll be told to go back to your homes, blah, blah, sit in there, sit tight, and wait for the internet to come back on again, which will be Starlink. If you can't chew pumpkin seeds, etc., run them through a coffee grinder, yeah, works great too. And thank you very much. Yeah, you could do a lot of things. I know that there's an ingredient out there. It's called flaxseed. You put that through a coffee grinder. You put all those other the pumpkin seeds through there as well. You could make yourself such a concoction, which, you can go put your, and you can put them in a jar. Like, you get a jar like this here. You can put it in a big jar like this, like just a normal size jar, right? And you get them anywhere. They're 25 cents each. And for a lid, whatever. And you can put all your ingredients in there. And you get yourself your turbo. Okay? You put the little bullet mixers. And you can put all your ingredients in there. Your honey, your lemon juice, put a whole lemon in there. And that would be, make sure your peel is, or your lemon is properly washed in the baking soda and water. Put it all in there, and you can cut it up and grind it up. Okay? Peel everything. Cut if there's any bad marks on the peel, cut it out, and then put it, and cut it up into wedges and throw it in the bullet. Okay? There's that. Then you use the flaxseed in there. You could put pumpkin seed in there. You just use your own imagination. Put turmeric in there. You put oregano. A good spoonful of oregano in there. And you can make yourself such a solution, such a cocktail. And you can sweeten it up with some pure liquid honey. Okay? Once you have that all mixed and put it in there and then you mix it up, it becomes almost like a paste. And then you just take one of those teaspoons a day. Okay? That's all you have to do. And you're going to start healing yourself. The body will go Shazam. It'll go, what the hell just happened to me? Right? Your body's just going to respond. And do it like on an empty stomach before you go to sleep. Maybe when you wake up, before you have your breakfast. Take one of them and then wait like an hour or half an hour, whatever, and then you can have your breakfast. Right? So we don't need to run a guideline or a ingredients recipe. We have to use our own imagination. And, I don't want to start a cooking show here. That's not what I'm here for. But I do know that anything that is, on the shelf that is in the spice departments is extremely good for you. Okay? And the idea that I don't know who mentioned that, but to use your coffee grinder works great. It does. You can use it on pumpkin seeds. You can use it on flaxseed, right? You can put other things in there, like a little bit of maybe a spoonful or two pure organic oatmeal or oat seeds, right? Extremely good for you, right? And then you can put your lemons in there, and all kinds of other things. You can even grind up 1 or 2 cloves in there. Put 1 or 2 or 3 cloves in that whole jar, right? Grind it up with the rest of it, like coffee, and then throw a cinnamon stick in there, 2 or 3 cinnamon sticks. Throw that in there. Let them grind up as well. You see where I'm going with all this? It's very, very easy. How you doing, Buddha Fox? How you doing, Georgia? Yeah, there's nothing organic sold in Walmart. No, it's all been contaminated. Welcome, Stockholm. How are things going in Sweden? Yep. Will we still get pension after EV? Absolutely. Your pensions will never be touched. Well, although we're getting very little right now, it should climb 3 times what you're getting now. And, that should be, 5,000-6,000 Canadian, whatever you got, should be the same thing in the United States, but we're all being changed over. It's not going to be Canadian anymore. Our dollar is going to be valued just like the new Republic Treasury note. Yeah. And that's going to have whatever they're going to have. Yeah. How you doing from Crowley, Texas? How are you doing? Stay away from Arm & Hammer. Absolutely. It's not good. Many chemicals in there. And I, unfortunately, have been using it, so I got to switch over. Yeah. I call my home Green Acres. Good for you. Stay on Green Acres. Just, yeah. Enjoy your life there. Yeah. And like it says, everything's going to come to you. Everything's going to come to everybody. We just got to be patient as we can. Can you explain the 6,500? Well, that's going to be just a global for anybody that's a pensioner. Pensions aren't going to move. They're going to actually move up in pension. So there's really nothing that, once you hit 60, 65, whatever, it'll be $6,500. You know what I mean? It's for every year that you were on the planet, you're going to receive that. That's right now we've been undercut. They've been taking $4,000 a month from us. I get $2,000 a month. They should be giving me $6,000, and they're taking $4,000 from me. So I don't mind taking it. I'm going to keep myself as healthy as I can and live to be 200 years old, based on all the medicines that are coming out. And I'm going to get back my reparations that I had put my whole life into. This is not, this is not a thing that is, that I'm that I'm happy to have or grateful to have. They owe it to me. They owe it to you. Okay. How you doing, Bianca? I'm not U.S. born, but I'm a citizen for over 25 years. I have to go back? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you do. Whatever your birth certificate says. Does your birth certificate say you were born in Mexico or, Uganda or Congo or wherever? That's where you're going to have to go back to. People are going to say, well, geez, if I go back there, I'll get persecuted and all this other stuff. No, there won't be any of these. All the rules are going to be changed. That's what they're changing out right now. This is why it's taken the time, because they are replacing the old guard, tyrannical guards with, constitutional leadership. How you doing, Mary? I don't know. We're in the fight right now. We're in a war. Yeah. How you doing, Green Eyes? How you doing, Pearl? Hey, Sean. Hi, Kelly. Yep. Well, pensions they're not going to matter. I mean, they will, but they won't. I mean, we're going to have more money than we know what to do with. That's what's coming. Especially if you've invested in, Vietnamese dong or the Indonesian rupiah or, the Colombian peso, or any maybe African, the shilling in Africa, anything along that line there where it has a really huge, you know, manipulated rate. Even with the South Korean krone. Like I even bought some Japanese yen because it was 100 to 1. Now explain to me, the Philippines peso is 42 to 1. Okay, 43 pesos to 1 Canadian dollar. But yet Japan is 107 yen for every dollar. They're double. I get double the amount of money, but yet Japan is, one of the superpowers of the Asian Pacific. Everything's manipulated. Everything's been manipulated. Now, we just have to let that all play out, and bring reality and truth back into the picture. Pray for Colorado and with its fires very close to us. I know, and we're praying for rain clouds. We need everybody out there doing the rain dance. Yep, we have the power to change the weather. If we all get in there and pray, we have the power to be able to do that. As crazy as it sounds, it's very, very true. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody out there want to take this Zeus off? Yeah. He's got a chemical infraction in his brain. Yeah. He's probably a pedo. And we should actually mark him and target him. And I know that the Space Force or the NSA is picking this guy up right now. So yeah, he's a negative, and he will be removed. How you doing, Sorrenta? Or is it Cernita? I'm not sure. Why did she run? Why did Mitch McConnell's wife run? It's very, very telling why she ran. Because she's guilty as sin, and she's trying to take the suitcase full of cash and run to her hiding spots, maybe back over to that little state in the Middle East next to Jordan. Yeah. And that's where they're all running to. And if they don't make it there, then they're going to run to eastern Ukraine. That's another stronghold that they have. They only have 2 strongholds left that they can actually run to with any type of, that they're not going to be identified right away. And that's eastern Ukraine, which is the, in the old, in those old parts there, but that's Putin's denazifying that. And of course, Trump's going to, wait till maybe they all run to that little state, and then he'll shut down everything and put the dragnet out on them. Yes, Trump is doing a great job. Yeah. Well, they messed up the ceasefire, but that's because the Ayatollahs are still out there that are absolute, complete psychopaths. There's still a lot of psychopaths that hold power. They don't care who they kill. They don't care. They do not care. All they care is power. That's all they want. And they're not going to get it. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, well, Zeus is a clown. I mean, and he's going to be picked up. His algorithm, right now, it's already been sent off. Yeah. He's, they can run, do whatever they want. They're going to be picked up because Before all this started, they were losers. During this whole operation, they're losers. And even after the EBS, they're going to be losers. Okay? They're just losers. And they will be picked up based on their, their physical and mental actions. All we can do is give them, try to pray for them, but I know they don't have a soul. When will silver be going up? Well, they're trying to pad it right now, so you get a chance to go in there and buy it. And I'm dealing with some people right now. I hope it stays down for a little bit more until I get a few more people, convinced that their money's no good, and to get it turned into silver and copper and gold. And I'm just trying to do that right now because there's going to be a huge slap in the face when they realize that their ATM, their debit cards and their credit cards don't work anymore, and the banks are shutting down. Then, because that's weeks away, maybe days away, maybe, I don't know. I'm funding $6,000 for one person. I'm not sure what you're saying there. You're funding it. You're paying $6,000 a month for one person. Yeah. Yes, cilantro is really good for you too. Yes, we'll also remove heavy metals. Thank you very much. And you can put that into the mix. Make your own concoction and make sure you take a teaspoon of it a day. That's going to really remove everything. I like drinking the clove water and the cinnamon. It's really done amazing things for me. How you doing, Jackson? Thank you very much for wishing me a wonderful day. I appreciate that. Yes. How you doing, Mary from Scotland? How things going? It's good. 76. How are things going? How to clear poison ivy? Anybody out there want to answer? Okay. If you got poison ivy, you must have gone through some pricklies. But I'm sure baking soda will do a lot. Yep. Baking soda will draw it all out. Yep. And you can put that into a paste. Yep. What is cilantro? We got to look it up. Amy, how are you? Hey, Dino17. Herb in grocery stores like your vegetables. Yeah, I know you got to keep them clean. But like it says, it's yeah. Yeah, she's at the YMCA, Katy Perry, yeah. Along with Baby Castro. Yep. I don't know. Katy Perry, John Benet Ramsey, I don't know. She might be somebody else that's working for the White Hats. But I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that stuff. I have no idea. That's all. That's too much of the movie stuff for me. I don't focus in on the character actors. I don't hardly even, I never even listened to the 4th of July. Pardon me, whatever, but I knew what he was going to say. I just felt what he was going to say and what he needed to say. I didn't think there was going to be any, big Shazam and how, we're going to get all this money. He's not allowed to say any of that because it's all being, all our monies and financings and everything is being covertly, in operations right now. And you're just going to see it one day in your bank account or in the QFS or whatever happens. There will be an EBS that comes, and it will shut down the rest of the criminal operations. Yeah, I guess it's a seasoning, but it's also it's an herb. You can put it in your soups and it's got a really nice flavor to it, and it's very good for you. Yes, only the military knows when. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. How you doing, Sovereign Lightworker? How things going? How things going, Craig Hurley? Grand rising to you, Shazam. Georgia born. Frankie, how you doing? Lumero uno. Yeah. Punjan Kanda. I probably wrecked that one. Had to laugh when at John Travolta. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. He's, I watched him grow up because I was the same age as him. When will Canadian banks that are holding fraudulent Democrat monies get exposed? That's all coming. Thank you very much for the question. I believe it's already been seized. They're just waiting for those announcements and whatever to, because you cannot fill the sleepers' heads up too much, because then they'll go loony. They'll go loony toony. There's already people out there that, even us awakened ones we can't deal with it no more. We can't take it no more. A lot of people are having very, very difficult times emotionally. Yes, the real Trump is in protection. Yep. He's either in Mount I'm not going to go. I'm not even going to speculate. Nobody knows when the EBS, it will go off when the military decides. Excuse me. How many times creation keep crying wolf and wolf and wolf? I know nothing happens. There's lots of things happening. Trust me. Lots of things are happening. They're not going to show you. And why should they show you? If they show you, they're going to show the bad guys. What we want is for the bad guys to be nice and relaxed, sitting on their couch, watching FIFA football and all the other clown shows and anything to keep their minds preoccupied. And not on the real, they don't have their eyes or their brains on the prize. They want them nice and relaxed. So when the knock comes to their door, let me just tell you something right now. And I don't know if I should even say this, but there's things out there right now. And I want everybody to, listen up here. There are military, special forces, special operators, super soldiers, whatever you want to call them. But they are very unique crews around the world right now. Going to a door, not busting it down, but just knocking on the door, maybe putting somebody there because they have to see through the thing to see who it is. And that person looks like a delivery boy or whatever, looks like a UBS, FedEx, whatever. They come to the door because they're holding a package, right? And that person comes to the door, and all of a sudden they pull out a 45 silencer. Boom. Done. All over with. That's what's going on right now. It's everywhere. They're just disintegrating them off the planet. And then what they do, they can go in there and they seize all the evidence and documents, everything that's needed, whatever, and all their bank accounts, everything. And it gets pulled off of the criminal operations that are happening. And that all those fundings and all the assets and everything go back somewhere hidden in some vault inside the United States or wherever it may be around the world. There's that much stuff going on right now. So you think they're going to advertise that? No, they're not going to advertise that. Yes, cilantro is a staple herb for Mexican food. Yes, very much so. I love the fact is that in the Philippines they have, they just call it oil, and it's actually coconut oil. Extremely good for you. Everything, it comes in these in these plastic bags, but you got to cut the top off and you put it in your own glass filler or whatever you do. But they just call it oil, but it's coconut oil, right? Yeah. They do have other oils, but, yes, you can use cayenne pepper too. Or that's right, Cheyenne Mountain. But I was thinking about this other ingredients. Cayenne pepper works too. Be careful with that. But that'll thin out your blood. Yeah. And there's also a couple of other ingredients out there that's out there that will that you can get in the health food stores. The powder form that you can also put in that. Mix it all together. Yeah. Yeah, he's either in Cheyenne Mountain or he's off planet. That's what I was going to say. More likely off planet. And there's the people that are high level important people, I guess you want to say. They're off planet. They're out of the reach of the cabal. They cannot be touched. Heavily guarded. Yeah. The government knows about 7+ seconds of anti-gravity. Yeah. The government knows about the 7+ seconds of anti-gravity on August the 12th. It could be. What, everybody going to float that day? Who knows? I mean, God, I'm waiting for people's heads to start spinning in the circle. Yeah, it's just that, there's everything is going on right now. How you doing, Bowman, Quebec? Bonjour. Yeah, bonjour. Love and light. Thank you. How you doing, Warlord? Yep, here goes the sirens again. And the die-off. How you doing, Road Dog? What's happening with the foreign currency? Tuck it underneath your arm and run for the goal line. It's all happening. Just hide it and forget about it. Until it's time. Hey, Stacy. Yeah, the Republic, or the U.S. Incorporated, is now a republic, yes. There's 36 countries in the Americas, okay? Not the 51st, not the 52nd. There are 36 additional countries inside the Americas. Let's get the wording straight. The borders will come down. Yes. How you doing, Lady Farmer? Good to see you. We don't know. Until we get proof of the real Trump being dead, I'm just going to put that on the shelf. Thank you. What happens? We're on vacation out of the country and this EBS goes off. Well, you're going to be told to stay in your hotel. I would take money with you. Cash is king. If you haven't invested in foreign currency, you're going to have maybe a 30-day window to get back on the plane and come home to do all your quantum financial banking. You'll have a 30-day window, so you can book that. You might get a invitation or a notification on your phone after the EBS, after the 10 days of darkness. Your phones will probably be up and running on Starlink. But nobody's going to be missed. No. I'm not going to stop the things that I'm doing. I'm pushing, I've always pushed the envelope, for me, because I'm not going to screw up my life I already had that problem, during 2020. I was basically, landlocked in my own country because I couldn't take a flight back to my other country, which is the Philippines. So I was, away from my family for 4 years, So I just worked. I just, went and did my work and made whatever money I could. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I can't. I have to decipher that from German. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All capitals. Yes. Cayenne pepper is a thinner. Yeah, it helps flow the blood and everything else. Yeah, there is some stuff there that detoxifies the plaque, the hardened soft plaque and whatever. Yeah. Yeah, Canada's already part of the. It's not really part of the. Yes, it's we're all one. Okay, I mean they can call it an annex in or whatever they want to do. That's fine. Hey, Lisa says, what so you can give it to the Islam? Well, anybody that, like I said, the money's going to go back to the countries that they were born in. Okay, the regimes that were in those countries or whatever that were persecuting the people, whatever, they're going to be disappearing, and their laws are going to be under the constitutional, natural law for humanity, which was what was God's original desire. Yeah, the manipulated Dow down 470 this morning. It's all going to crash. Yeah, Iran's misbehaving again. It's part of the show. Yeah, but you're going to see not just the Dow Jones, but you're going to see all the markets crash. Everything's crashing, including the silver, gold. Everything's going to crash. But it gives us that opportunity. This real estate markets are going to crash. You're going to be able to pick up real estate for 10 cents on the dollar. Yep, coming. It's coming. So I haven't bought any land, and I don't plan to until 2027. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. I'm just talking to everybody. If he sees my comments, that's good. Yeah, and that's fine. That's what we're here for. We have to, have a conversation with everybody here. We're all family. Yeah, Canada's been part of the Americas since the name North America was invented. We are the Americas. And, and so is the Brazil and Argentina and all the other countries applicable. Yeah. Thank you. When the EBS starts, how long do you think it will last for? Well, in the blue cities, it'll last longer. In the other areas that's not so concentrated with reptiles, it won't last as long. But I can tell you right now, we have a lot of NPCs out there. And I'm just scared to think that, what's happening right now, like I said, there's a worldwide dragnet going on about cleaning up all the money and all the usual suspects that are involved in that dirty money. All of that is a huge dragnet going on right now. That's all getting cleaned up. You're going to see billionaires on the streets in food banks because everything will be taken away from them. Everything. That's what you're going to see. And you're going to see very poor countries of people that were, on the street selling their vegetables and everything else become extremely rich. Why? Is because that's what God wants. You have already done your time, and you have felt the pain and suffering of poverty, and now you're going to feel the remnants and the jubilee of being very rich. And the ones that were very rich and having everything and all the luxuries in their life and gone a little bit cuckoo in the brains, having all this money, endless amounts of money, are going to get a shot of reality that they've never had before on the planet. And trust me, they will survive, and they will be, the military will allow them to survive and let humanity deal with them at that point. Okay? But they have so much ignorant, shallow hate in them by, hoarding and being negative beings that they are. They will never survive because they don't have any kindness in them. They don't have any, any giving or service to God. They don't have anything. They're complete, dark elements of this world. Everything's going to be flipped on its head. You know how they inverted everything? Well, we're inverting everything right back, including them. So, really to place it into one sentence, the rich will be poor and the poor will be rich. Okay? What about gold and silver? It's not, it's going to be just fine. All metals will be out there. Nickel, copper, gold, palladium, platinum, rhodium, you name it. Anything that's out there is all going to be on the plus asset column. Okay? Moving into the asset world. It's all going to be in the asset column. Any of the paper money is going to disappear because it was printed by man, and all their ugly symbolism, everything, that's all going to be burned up. All their statues and owls and all that bullshit is all going to be brought down. Okay? And, they're rebuilding the beautiful statues of our forefathers throughout the United States and around the, the Washington area. It's all being done. So, anybody that's trying to deface that stuff or whatever, all they're doing is exposing themselves. Even when the clown, the dum-dums come on here and they try to throw negative out there, they're just like, there's the algorithm. Oop, you're gone. This is the biggest military sting operation in the history of man that is being taken place right now on this planet. It is a huge sting operation. And what do I mean by sting operation? The sting operation takes any level of negativity, being a narcissist, hurting other people, mentally, physically, bodily, spiritually, is going to be dealt with. If you've been service to God and done good things and try to be out there to help people, maybe throw some money somebody's way, you have compassion in your heart, help little animals, you're going to be well taken care of because they want that consciousness to move into the new world. This is what we're going to be faced with. I hope everybody understands that. Anyways, I got to run. We will see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get this thing